Okay, guys, you ready to reconvene and discuss what we learned? All right, we are in GPS for the soul, fourth class of 4. We mentioned before there's a second part, GPS for the soul, part 2. You can please sign up for that and join us for that as well. Continuing, we also have Letters for Life starting on campus on Monday, free hour time. God willing, Letters for Life is a course. We're going to read through a book called Letters of Life, which has various ideas taken from the written correspondence of the Lubavitcher Rebbe, but it talks about letters for life. The idea basically is, as the name indicates, various different themes and life topics and ideas that are pertinent and timely. So it's going to be more of a discussion based. We're going to have readings as well in English, but it's going to be more text based. More discussion based. So last week in part 3 of GPS for the Soul, we were studying Tanya chapter 32, and someone actually listened to the recording, not a Queens College student. There's live recordings on the YouTube page for Chabad as well as on Spotify. And someone sent me a message, and they told me that was the best class they ever heard on chapter 32 of Tanya that didn't read a single word from the actual chapter 32 of Tanya. So whether the person meant it as a compliment or not, I don't know, but I took it as a compliment. So today we're going to have the best class he ever heard, and maybe even that you ever heard, on Tanya chapter 32. But today we're actually going to read some of the words. So I hope that's going to be enjoyable, God willing. So we're starting halfway through, because really a lot of what is in the first part of Tanya chapter 32, and again, we're starting on the little circle and triangle at the bottom column of chapter 32. The first part of this chapter, really, we discussed a lot of those ideas outside in our discussion last week, which again was, quote unquote, the best class on Tanya chapter 32 I ever heard that didn't read a single word of chapter 32. Guinness Book, we're going for it. So now we're going to read some words. As for the Talmudic statement, that's what it says. As for the Talmudic statement, it's in the Gemara called Shavuot. What's the Gemara? Here's a little bit of trivia. What's the Gemara called Shavuot talk about?
Promises.
Shavuot. If you said Shavuot, you're right. But what does Shavuot mean? Weeks. Anyone else?
Also
swearing. Promises. Yeah. So in this context, it is not about the holiday of Shavuos. It's not about weeks. It's about Shavuot, as in an oath. When a person takes an oath. In any event. It says the following, that one who sees his friend sinning should hate him. Last week we spoke about love. Should hate him and should tell his teacher, turn the page, to hate him also. Pretty extreme. So not only are you hating the friend who sins, you're tattletaling, which is something I think your mother or your father or both told you not to do. You're tattletaling on your friend and going to their rabbi, their teacher, and being like, by the way, do you know what he did? You should hate him because that's what he did. And that's what the Gemara says. Yeah, pretty amazing. So he qualifies. What does that mean? You should hate him and tell his teacher to hate him also. So the Alter Rebbe, the author of the Tanya, qualifies it. It says this applies to a companion. Right? The word in Hebrew is chaver, a friend, to a companion in Torah and precepts and mitzvahs. What does that mean? What is a companion in Torah and mitzvahs? What does that mean? Yeah, no.
Okay, I have 2 different answers. One is a chavruta, the other potentially a spouse.
Chavruta or a spouse?
Yeah.
Is the same thing or different things?
Different thing. I didn't realize you precepts also.
Precepts.
Well, that's true. You should be.
Well,
Yeah.
Look in Hebrew on page 82 at the top, the first line, third last word. And look in the Hebrew. What does it say? Precepts over there? Mitzvot, the mitzvahs, Torah and mitzvahs. This is your friend in Torah and mitzvahs. So Daniela says maybe it means a chavrusa, maybe it means a spouse, maybe option C, it's both. I don't know. Do you marry a spouse for a chavrusa? Some sage advice, don't do that.
I really think what's it called, your kabuta, say your sister.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with studying Torah with your spouse. I just don't think it's recommended to marry a person having in mind, oh, it's going to be my study partner. But anyway, that's just my opinion. I think, yeah.
Is it any like do at all?
That's what I'm trying to actually figure out, is there exactly what you just asked. Is this talking about anybody, or is this someone specific?
Someone that you're close to,
Oh, someone that you're close to. That's what you're saying.
like.
So a friend, huh? That you know. So we're not talking about a random person on the street. No. Okay. Agree. Yeah.
I would say that I interpreted it as meaning as somebody that is similar to your level of study or that keeps mitzvot at the same degree that you do.
Very nice. Very nice. Someone who's on a quote unquote the same page as you, so to speak. And also that it's not, we're not talking about going up to random people on the street and be like, hey, this is what you did, and rebuke. That's not what we're talking about. We don't do that. That's not a way of peace. That's not a way of resolution, and it's not a way of how to approach other people you don't even know. But what does chaver mean in Hebrew? Anyone?
A friend.
A friend. Good. What else?
Maybe your boyfriend.
Could be a boyfriend. Yeah. What else? What else does chaver mean? What is anybody know a little bit of Hebrew language of shoresh, the roots? What is it? What other words have the same shoresh, chet, bet, resh? Yeah.
Like Hebron.
Oh, like a hug.
Kevra group, good. Chaver, Kevra, good. Is there a city in Israel that has these letters? Kevron, thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. By the way, my good friend, I don't think he's listening on YouTube. My good friend Mordechai Hellinger is one of the Chabad rabbis in Hellinger. In Hellinger, his name's Hellinger. One of the Chabad rabbis in Hebron just had a baby, and the Brit Milah was in Hebron in the Me'at Machpelah in the Cave of the Patriarchs on this past Sunday. So this is what I told him. I told him to call. I'm going to throw this. It has nothing to do with anything. I'm just going to share it with you because I thought it was cute. I'm going to share it with you anyway. So I told him, which one of the patriarchs or matriarchs is not buried in Hebron? Rachel. Where's she buried?
And
Yeah, on the way, right? On the way. So she's close by. So she's the only one not buried of the three patriarchs and the four matriarchs. She's the only one not buried in Hebron. So I said as follows: Sunday on the Jewish calendar, when he made the Brit Milah for his son, by the way, named Levi Yitzchak. Shout out to new baby Levi Yitzchak in Hebron. Sunday on the Jewish calendar was the 11th day of the month of Cheshvan. Why is that relevant? Because do you know, the 11th day of Cheshvan is past Sunday is the yortzeit of Rachel Imenu, of our matriarch Rachel. So the Brit Milah was on her day, and furthermore, the 11th day of the month of Cheshvan is, do the math, the 41st day of the year, starting from Rosh Hashanah, 1 Tishrei, 2, 3, 4, get to 11 Cheshvan. You keeping up the math? 41st day of the year. Anybody know gematria? Mem Aleph is 41. What does Mem Aleph spell backwards? No. No. Hey, mother. So her yortzeit, her day of passing, is on the 41st day of the year, which is mother. That's a mother. So I said to him, I just made this up. I said to him that she's the only one of our mothers, the mamas and the papas, like he likes to say, that's not buried there. And you're making the Brit Milah there, but it's on her yortzeit, which that day is the 41st day of the year, meaning mother, aim. So it's as if she's also there for that. Anyway, what are we talking about?
Not related. I don't to this. I have a question about Rachel. How do we know it's for your side?
Well, there's various ways we know yortzeits from people many, many years ago. One way is sometimes it's written. For example, the only yortzeit. Okay, here's some more trivia. Once we're going to trivia lane, right? Who's the Oh, you already knew the answer before I even asked it. It's not fair.
But we also know.
Sorry, it's horrible. I'm crazy.
Yes, we do.
But is
Yes, we do.
Birthday and death.
Oh, yes, we do. Right. So the only yortzeit that's mentioned specifically the day in the Torah is, as Daniela mentioned, Aharon HaKohen. However, we know Moshe as well, but we don't know because it's not mentioned explicitly. You need to do a little bit of basic mathematics to figure out when his yortzeit is. Which raises the question, how did Haman know when his yortzeit was, but not know that his birthday was the same day? Okay, We'll leave that for a Purim class. Just food, right? Haman knew, you know the story, right? Haman knew when he picked out lots of a hat, right? And it fell in the month of Adar. Haman was happy. Why? He said, oh, that's a good month to commit genocide. By the way, actual genocide, not fake genocide. Actual genocide is a good month to do it. Why? Because that's the month that Moshe Rabbeinu died in. It's a good month for me, a bad month for the Jews, says Haman. How come he didn't know that Moshe Rabbeinu was also born on that day? Okay, you'll think about that until Purim, then we'll talk about that.
Oh, wasn't it a secret that wasn't born? Not really a secret, but wasn't born like in the hospital, like it was.
He wasn't born in the hospital, no.
It was in his house with his mom, but wasn't really public knowledge. No?
Wasn't public knowledge, no. Wasn't public knowledge, no. But some people, we know. A lot of people. Okay, anyway, you'll think about it till Purim. So a friend, how do we get on this train? Because Chevron. Chaver means friend. Chevron means Chevron. Why is it called Chevron? It's earth, bound to the earth. That's where the matrix and the patriarchs are buried. It's a connection to the earth. The word Chaver, the word Chevron is Ebur, a bond, a connection. That's why it's a friend. The word in Hebrew is Chaver because Chaver means bond or friend. Well, means friend. So it means a bond or a connection because that's what a friend is. A friend is the person you are bonding with, you are connected to. There are other ways to say bonding or connection as well in Hebrew, but that's one of them. So this has to be, we're not talking about a random person in the street that you go over to them and you're like, hey, I saw you do sin A and D, and therefore I'm going to hate you. And now I'm going to go tell your teacher, your rabbi, whoever it is they should hate you. That's not what we're talking about. It's only your chaver. Who's a friend is a person that you're bonded with, that you're connected to, you're close. Maybe it's a chavrusa, maybe it's not. But either way, it's someone that you're close to, that there's a shared bond with. Or I think David said it's the idea that it's someone who's on like a similar page, same religious level as you, whatever exactly religious level is, I'm not sure, but separate discussion. So it has to be someone on the same level with. And number two, what's number two? Having already applied to him or her the injunction, what's an injunction? A mitzvah, basically, the commandment, which is hocheach tochiach. Thou shalt repeatedly rebuke. Hocheach tochiach et amitecha. Rebuke another person. What does it mean to rebuke? To tell them, don't do that. But the Hebrew, interestingly to note, is hocheach tochiach, which is a double form of the same root. Rebuke, thou shalt rebuke, we might translate it. Now, it's true that the Torah often uses a double language like that. But some explain in this context that to rebuke another person, it's hocheach, tochiach. Rebuke, you shall surely rebuke. Those are two different rebukes. The first rebuke is yourself. If and only if a person is willing to honestly and sincerely rebuke themselves and give themselves a check. Who am I? Where am I? Am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing? Then if you do that, then thou shalt rebuke. Then you could rebuke someone else. But only if you rebuke yourself first. If you just want to go around yelling at people, you did this wrong, you did this wrong, you did this wrong. No, that ain't going to work. It has to be sincere, which means that you have to start with yourself. So, if this person is your chaver, they're a person you have a shared bond with, on a similar page, and if you already sat down with yourself and rebuked yourself, and then you sat down with them and rebuked them in a kind of, this doesn't mean you scream at them, but in a kind way. There's a Hasidic saying that goes something like this. Before you rebuke someone, you have to cut your fingernails. Anybody know what it means?
Check yourself.
Check yourself. You're not gonna dig it. Don't dig into it. You got to cut the fingernails so that it's not going to hurt. It has to be done gently. It has to be done with respect, with love. They say when it comes to parenting, I once heard from a therapist, I think even if I didn't hear it from a therapist, it would still be good advice, that a parent sometimes has to rebuke or discipline their child. If you want to have even a chance at the discipline for a child being successful, you have to have in the bank already 5 praiseworthy statements, 5 compliments that you've given the child first. because it's like you have $10 in the bank, you want to take out $2. You can't take out $2 unless you have money already in the bank. So if you're going to, so to speak, rebuke the child, discipline them, that's considered taking money out of the bank. Can't take money out of the bank if you ain't got money in the bank. So he said it's 5 positive statements for every disciplinary statement that's going to happen. In any event, I think the same similar thing would apply over here. Now, if this person that's your friend that you have a shared bond with, and you've rebuked them in an honest, earnest, and sincere way, and they still continue the same sin, they're like, yeah, I hear you, but I don't care. Yeah.
Hey, I'm confused about this, like, thing about disciplining. So you like pretend like you want to discipline your kid, like, oh, by the way, you're nice, you're this, you're that, you're that, but you're grounded. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. So you have parents.
Yeah.
So you know that kids see the truth exactly the way it is, right? You probably see everything, right? You know what goes on in your house. Kids know what the parents are up to. Kids know when the parents are faking it or when the parents are being sincere. I mean, I'm speaking as a parent right now. I think my kids know if it's real. Kids can tell because they're smart. Little kids, older kids, and the kids are smart. So you're right. If it's like that, then no, it doesn't work. It has to be real. It has to be natural. It has to be sincere. It has to be like you see your friend, oh, you look great today.
Yeah.
Like when it comes out like that, then the friend knows, oh, she really meant it. Like it has to flow. It has to be natural. If it's like structured and tight and like you look good today, like, oh, come on, who are you kidding? Like that's silly. So it has to be sincere. It has to flow. It has to be natural. And then the kids will know. Your friends will know.
Yeah.
So says the Alter Rebbe in the Tanya here, if you did all these things and the person still doesn't repent, they still continue their quote unquote bad ways, their sinning ways, then it is a mitzvah to hate them. I see a frown, I see silence, I see perplexed faces, I see this. I see, I don't know what. Okay, we're gonna hold that thought. Hold whatever thoughts you're having right now, unless you want to ask or comment something right now. You can hold it and we'll continue and we'll come back to it. Okay, let's continue. But as for the person who was not one's colleague, I mean, not your chaver, not someone you have a bond with, not someone you're on the same page with, how should you relate to them if you see them sinning? Don't rebuke them. Don't do that because they're not your friend. Remember, not your chaver, not your colleague. And is not on intimate terms with him. Hillel the elder, Hillel, the famous Hillel said, Heve mitalmidov shel Aharon. We mentioned Aaron before, Aaron HaKohen. You should be of the disciples of Aaron, of Aaron HaKohen, which means you should emulate, should act like you are a disciple of Aaron HaKohen, even if you're not. Become one of them, act like it. What does that mean to do? Love peace. Pursue peace, love the creatures, and draw them near, close to the Torah. Oyev shalom, roidev shalom, oyev esabrios. Right? So, yeah. Oyev shalom, roidev shalom, oyev esabrios, umakar v'latayra. Now, it's interesting. The Mishnah that it's quoting here says, "Ohev et habriot." Love doesn't say people. Doesn't say humans, it says love creatures. To hint that even a person who is so depraved, even a person who is sunk to such a low level, you can't find anything positive to say about them. Even such a person is a bria. They were created by God. Even if that's the only positive thing you can find about them, you still have to love them. You have to love them. You have to bring them close. That's what he says, like the students of Aaron. This means that even in the case of those who are removed from God's Torah and His service and are therefore classified simply as creatures, one must attract them with strong cords of love, perchance. Is that an older English translation? Perchance. We should use that word more often in common conversation. What does it mean? Maybe, just maybe, one might succeed in drawing them near to the Torah and divine service. And even if you don't, even if you fail, and the person continues doing whatever they're doing, even if one fails, one has not forfeited the merit of the precept. What's a precept? Mitzvah of neighborly love, also known as Ahavas Yisrael. So if you're not a chaver with the person, if you're not a friend with them, if you're not a colleague, if you're not close with them, don't rebuke them, don't scream at them, nothing. Just be nice to them. Just be kind. Just smile. Just welcome them in. Right, in this week's Torah portion, we read about Avraham Avinu, Abraham. He's known for many things, one of which is having the tent open on all four sides. He welcomed everybody in. Everybody. He didn't interview you to find out which family are you from. Are you rich? Are you this? Are you? No, he just welcomed you in, doesn't whoever you are. So that's what we have to do. Now, let's go back to the first thing. The first statement was someone who's your chaver, your friend, your colleague, same religious level as them. And you rebuked yourself first, and then you rebuked them, and they still continue their sinning ways. So it says then you have to hate them. That is a mitzvah to hate them. Like, really? So I'm supposed to actually hate someone? The Torah says, "V'ahavta l'reacha kamoicha." Love your neighbor as yourself, except for that guy who sins. Him you should hate, him or her. That's a little bit extreme. So he comes back to that. Even with regard to those who are close to him, that's your chaver, and whom he has rebuked. Again, which rebuking means rebuke yourself first, cut your fingernails first, rebuke yourself first. Yet they had not repented of their sins. When there is a mitzvah to hate that person, which we said there is a mitzvah, however, there is also a mitzvah to also love that person, hate them and love them, both. How do you hate and love the same person? So you might say, well, it's a love-hate relationship. What's a love-hate relationship? Well, in the context here, it means as follows. Hatred because of the wickedness in them. Key words here. Not actually hating them. Hating the bad within them. Who doesn't have a little bit of negativity within them, right? Who doesn't have a little bit of bad within them? Not hating the person, God forbid. I don't hate you. I don't hate anybody. God forbid I hate a person. Hate what they do, the action. So we want to parse it a little bit and differentiate between hating an individual. Don't hate the person. Hate what they do. Hate the action, what they do. Because of the hatred, because of the wickedness in them, and love on account of the aspect of the hidden good within them. There's a hidden, just like there's bad within everyone, there's good within everyone too. What is the good? Which is the divine spark in them. In the language of Tanya, that's the godly soul. The godly soul within everybody. And this is what animates the person. This is what keeps the person alive and keeps the person on track, even when they're off track. So we have a person that may fit the description of someone that I have to hate. In such a case, I have to hate him. What do I hate? Don't hate him. Hate the bad that he does. Says the Alter Rebbe in Tanya. Also, I have to love him. I also have to love him. And you could do both, because the loving is loving, the good spark of goodness within him. Hating is hating the bad within him. Okay, so we could do both. We could stop the chapter here and conclude GPS for the Soul part 1, but we're not going to do that. Why? Because there's one more point that I want to make. And that is as follows. He should also, I'm reading on the second last line in English, on the left column. He should also awaken pity in his heart. In the Hebrew, it's rachamim. They translate rachamim as pity. Anyone heard the word rachamim? Mercy. Any other translations? Compassion. I like compassion. I'm a little bit surprised, maybe because it's an older dated translation. They translated it as pity. Pity means like I feel bad for you, which maybe I do. Maybe that is what it means. But I like the word compassion, because compassion indicates there's like a little bit more heart in it. Pity is like, too bad for you. Compassion is, no, I actually care about you. So he says, awaken compassion in his heart for the divine soul, for she is held captive, as it were, in the evil of the sitra achra. That means the other side. That's referring to forces of negativity within the person that triumphs over her and wicked people. So I have to have compassion for the person. Why? Because of the state that they've come to. It's like, did you ever walk in the street and see a homeless person begging for change and wonder, like, how did you get there? How did you fall so low? Like, what happened? And like you feel compassion. Like you weren't always like that. Maybe you had dreams, maybe you had hopes. And you feel compassion for the state the person's in. Maybe it is pity also. Feel pity, compassion, mercy for the state that the person's in. How did you get like that? How did you end up so depraved, so lost? So we could have that view of a person spiritually, it says. You could look at the person and say, you have a godly soul and it's wayward. How did it get so off track? How did you end up homeless, begging for change, God forbid? And what does that do? When I awaken compassion, real hartzig, that's a Yiddish word, real hartzige compassion, real love, real care, real empathy, real feeling for the other person, what does that do? It destroys hatred and awakens the love. So what we're going to end up with is that we start with hatred, to hate the person. Then we add love, and you can do both. Then we add compassion, which neutralizes the hate. Because you can't hate someone you feel compassionate for. You can't hate them. You feel compassion. You have compassion. It's not compatible with hate. So it wipes away the hate, and all you're left with is love. So at the end of the day, even those that we are enjoined to hate, we're going to end up loving them too. And it all stems from compassion, awakening within ourselves compassion for the other person. Comments or questions? Okay, so we're going to stop now. And now please take out your phones. Oh, yeah, one second. Comment or question?
I mean, I'm not sure. Could I ask about the last paragraph about
Sure.
hating sinners and atheists specifically?
Yeah.
Being from encounters that will potentially.
Yeah. So in the last paragraph, he says that as for King David, peace unto him who said, I hate them with a consummate hatred. He was referring to Jewish heretics and atheists who have no portion in the God of Israel, as stated in the Talmud, Tractate Shabbat, beginning of chapter 16. So the question was, it sounds incompatible. The question is coming from a person named David about a statement of David, King David. So, first of all, the English translation of atheist, I don't think necessarily conveys what the Hebrew was meant to mean over here. It's not really an atheist per se. It's more of a heretic. A heretic in Jewish life really is someone that knows about Judaism, that knows what's true, and anyway defies, and anyway goes against it. It would be like a child who knows what their parent wants and anyway goes against it. There's a certain brazenness to that that most people don't have. So there is place, this concluding part of Tanya is suggesting, there is place for hatred in life. We're not saying that there should never be such a thing as hatred. It's an emotion. There's emotions like, and there's all sorts of nasty emotions, right? Anger, jealousy, hatred, there's all sorts of nasty emotions. So we're not saying that those emotions are off limits. Sometimes those emotions, first of all, are normal. And even though they're normal, we should try to get rid of them or transform them to something else. Other times, there's a place for everything. There may indeed be a place for hatred. As the sages tell us, the Talmud says, that we have to know when to be compassionate and when to be vengeful and hateful, not vengeful, when to be hateful. And if we misplace that, if we are compassionate when we should be cruel, we will come to be cruel when we should be compassionate. And I think that especially in light of the events of the last 2 years, we can understand that maybe there is room for hatred occasionally. It's not necessarily the end of the world. And maybe it's even not the end of the world. Maybe it's proper to recognize that certain things should be hated. Murder, killing, raping, that should be hated. So although that's not our general go-to emotions for happy living, there's a place for it. Perhaps that's what it means a little bit.
Here it seems we're not talking about hating concepts as much as we're talking about hating people that are responsible for perpetrating attack.
Correct.
Maybe we should break for the, you guys can continue. But if you wanna do the survey, it's actually fine if you want to do it in a group, if everyone wants to take a few minutes.
So it is hating certain people that perpetrate and carry out these most hateful and nasty of actions.
And if you guys wanna continue, I only have 4 people that signed up for.
Not so
action
politically correct,
consideration.
but yeah.
So.
Okay, guys, thanks. So yeah, take out your phone and we wanna give everyone an opportunity. We should finish on time. So there is a survey, you have to fill it out. You're not getting you're not getting graded on the survey, by the way. Just the Jewish administrators at Chabad on Campus International want to know that you actually came. So you're not getting graded, but you have to fill it out. And again, sign up for GPS. You want to say something, Young?
I think a lot of people probably forgot what we did in class 1.
We can talk about.